Alright, most of these CV boots, they actually have the original type boot or clamp on the boots, but these, I use the aftermarket ones that were provided, and I really don't like this type because these clips are really kind of hard to get in there and get them tight unless you have the special tool, and even then they're still kind of hard. But to get them out, there's a little nub that sticks up right there. You gotta pry up, and then you can just pull the thing off. And I just remove both these at the same time because it don't matter to me, because more often than not I don't usually remember which ones go where, because one of these has a clip in it that you got to remove, and I believe it's the other one actually, because generally the one that plunges like that is the one that has a C-clip, and it does. So the inner cup is the one that has a C-clip in this case. How you get that out is little clip out is wipe away some of the grease, because there will be a lot of it, because this is a CV boot, unless you've already lost all of your grease. And find a place to set them in so you don't get everything greasy, because you're going to go through a lot of rags. Next, find the end of the clip. It's kind of hard to find sometimes, but you just got to find the end of it, and you got to pry it down. Also, take this axle boot and actually slip it off. Slip it off down there, and you're going to want to clean that up later because you don't want grease on that. But by slipping that off, it will make everything so much easier, and you can get rid of some more of that grease and find everything a lot easier. And there I can actually see the clip now. And that right there is the end of it. So I need to find a spot that is close to it. Just stick that little screwdriver or pick, anything will work, in on the next one of these little ridges if I can't get the corner started. Or sometimes you can rotate the clip in there, just like that, and then get it started and just gently work it out and pull it off, set it off to the side on something clean, and then you can pull your inner cup off and set it off to the side somewhere clean again. You'll be cleaning it up later. Kind of look at these and make sure that they're not rough and everything. And then on the end of the axle here, there'll be a tiny little C-clip. You see right there is the ends of the C-clip. So obviously you got to take that C-clip off. Next you got to take that little C-clip off. Once you get it off, again, set it off to the side, and try not to bend this thing because it's kind of small. I know I don't have any others except for in other junk axles. Now you can pull the little ball bearing setup off, and after that, if you haven't already done it, remove the other clamps for the CV boots and slide them off just like that. Set them off to the side somewhere to be thrown away because they're junk. There's no point in saving them unless you just want them. Then do your best to clean up the axle, because there's a lot of grease in these things. And I'm just going to skip cleaning the rest of this because there's a lot. And it honestly, cleaning this takes honestly about as long as actually replacing this. So, yeah. Okay, so now that you got everything cleaned up, you really need to get like some lacquer thinner or paint thinner and wipe this axle off. And everywhere where the boots are going to actually clamp on, you can see where I stopped right there. It's still oily, but it doesn't matter. I think these are EPI brand. I think I used one once before whenever I had stock suspension, and they lasted fine and worked just great. I don't know how they're going to hold up with higher CV angles, but if these don't hold up, I'll just deal with it until I actually buy longer axles and make a big lift for this four-wheeler. First thing you want to do is find out the difference between these boots. There's not any difference. They have the same part number on here, even though they're sold as different, but it doesn't matter. But first thing you gotta do is slide on the boot for the outer CV joint. It might take some working around and get it seated in that little cup right there, or that little lip. And then what you're going to do after that is open one of your things of grease and kind of pinch it like this and squeeze all that grease in there, and then slip it on there and do the best you can to not get grease on there, because it can have the CV joint spin on the inside of the boot and it won't be doing anything. But just do the best you can, and if you have to, wipe it off. But just get all that grease in there. And if you have to get your fingers dirty and poke it in there with your fingers, do it, because you definitely want plenty of grease in there, and you want all of it that's in these little packets. You want all of that in there for sure. You don't want any extra. So now that's done, get another rag and kind of clean off the little bit that splashed out, and get some more paint thinner, lacquer thinner, or anything, and clean off that cup right there so you don't have to worry about it spinning. Then after that, you just slip the boot on there, make sure it's in the groove right. It's really hard to not get grease in this cup, but just stick your finger in between it and kind of clean it and hold up on it so it doesn't slide back down. And do that a few times till you get pretty much all the grease out of the groove here. And once again, try not to let the cup slide down. And now that everything's pretty well cleaned up, you can put the first clamps on. Don't matter which order you do it, just generally you want these clamps to go on the opposite direction of the way these axles turn. So since this is on the right side of the bike and it turns like this, I want the bands to go on like this. So this end gets bent down away from the way it's turning so it doesn't get caught by chance. The way these work is you just hold on to them, hold on to the center, and you just pull them, and they get smaller and smaller until they clamp on nice and tight. And I like these a lot better because you don't have to have the special tool, and I think they're easier to use because all you gotta do is just hold on to it with a screwdriver, and then you gotta pull it tight and bend it over. Whenever you bend it over, that clamps it on nice and tight, so you don't have to worry about it slipping. Then after that, you just take and smash these little pins down. Then do the other one. And if it ever for some reason starts spewing a little bit of grease out of there, you just got to get a little bit tighter. It's not hard to do, it's not hard to adjust and fix, and you'll just you'll cut off the excess later. But go ahead and do the other boot now, and once again make sure that this goes away from the direction it's going to be turning. Yeah, I really need to get this one a little tighter, but yeah, there we go. I got to move a little bit. Then just rebend this one as well, and really you can't reuse these, so try not to screw them up. Kind of smash the ends of it down so they don't stick up anymore what they have to. Then just kind of trim the excess off. And because I'm dumb and I forgot about it, or I didn't forget, but I did this backwards, I'll have to do this later and flip this clamp around. And I actually have an extra one for some reason in this little pack, so that's okay anyway. Next, slide on your other boot. Just have it sitting off to the side out of the way. Make sure everything's still nice and clean. And take this little race right here and put it on. And be sure and don't get this mixed up, because this only will go on one way. Put the little C-clip back in there. And make sure it's seated in there all the way, because otherwise your axle will come apart and you'll think you broke it, but either way you'll be screwed and stuck somewhere until otherwise. Now that it's on there all the way, just slide this boot up till it's on the groove as well. And actually, even before you do that, you really need to put your smaller clamp on. And this one looks like that it's gonna be just the right size that I can slip this over with and then pinch the boot until I can get it worked around, or I might even just unravel it a little bit, just like that, and then I'll put it back in together. Alright, now that boot's on, this side's a little easier to not make a big mess out of, because this cup comes off. So what's easiest to do is stick that down in the bottom of the cup, squeeze all the grease out while it's inside the cup there, and it's going to fill up. And once again, make sure you get all that grease in there. Kind of pull this boot back just a little bit. And then slide the cup in until you get it all the way seated. And then it's kind of a messy deal in there, but yeah, put this little C-clamp back on. It's kind of hard to actually get it over the axle, but you'll get it eventually. And after that, just kind of stuff it in the ring, and it'll eventually snap in there just like it just did. Then clean it all up, put the other boot back on, or the other clamp back on the boot, and it's ready to go. That's really about it. This isn't that hard to do. Just try not to get grease on these that area right there so it doesn't slip on the boot. If you got any other ideas I can do, let me know, because until I actually go on a ride or do other stuff, I don't have a lot of video material to actually do.